So as I said, we're discussing menopause nutrition today. So all the normal rules of nutrition apply, even when you're in menopause. So eating lots of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, all the good stuff, right? What makes it different is all the added vitamins and minerals that are going to really help support your menopausal symptoms. Now that doesn't matter if you've only got slight symptoms or really severe symptoms, it's all about supporting your body to work at its best, okay? So I always say get your vitamins and minerals from your food first before you even think about supplements. We're very quick to Google and say, oh, I'll just buy that, box of pills or, bottle of pills, and really our body absorbs the micronutrients from food the best. Okay, so you might think, oh, I'll just take this tablet and all my worries will go away, and it's really not the case because our body isn't as efficient from breaking that down and absorbing the minerals and the vitamins from it, right? So the first one we're going to talk about is omega-3. So we know omega-3 comes from things like oily fish, so your salmon, mackerel, nuts and seeds like flax seeds, chia seeds, and so on. Beans like edamame beans, can you speak today? Are really good as well, sources of omega-3. So omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. They also help menopausal symptoms like joint pain, which I know is such a big thing for most women in menopause. It's the one most common complaints that I get from clients. Brain fog, it helps with that as well because it helps support your cognitive function, okay? And hormone balance. So we know as women in general, we have to have lots of healthy fats in our diets to help support our hormones. So that's, even if you're still having a period, it's still important, okay? So we recommend no less than 30 grams of fats, good fats, ideally in your diet. Generally, if you're still, menstruating, then you're looking probably around the 40 grams per day mark. The next one is calcium and vitamin D. Now these two, I'm pairing these two together because they do really come hand in hand. So with calcium, obviously that helps build bones, it supports the formation of the bones and helps protect them, okay? Vitamin D helps the absorption of that calcium in the body. So there's no point taking calcium or, concentrating on that and not your vitamin D. We know anyway that we don't get enough vitamin D from sunlight, sunshine, so it's a really good one to take, especially in the winter months, but I would say it really is an all-round vitamin, okay? So with calcium, you're really looking at around 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day, which is quite a good amount, but we know that in menopause, our bone and muscle mass sort of is decreasing at quite a fast rate. It decreases around, I think it's 5 to 10% in the first sort of 5 years. So really, our bones are so important to protect and build upon, as well as our muscles, but I'll get on to that in a second. So the recommended vitamin D amount is 800 international units of vitamin D as well. So this is all really important, especially if you are supplementing with a vitamin like tablet, that you are checking the back of the labels, ladies, making sure that you are getting enough of what you're supplementing with, okay? So good sources of calcium are things like milk, cheese, other dairy sources, like yogurt, cottage cheese, those sorts of things. Also bread, anything made with fortified flour. So you'll see in like some cereals and things like that as well. Okay, the next one is magnesium glycinate, one of my favourites, because one, it has a calming effect on the nervous system. Okay, it also helps relax muscles, helps sleep quality, and it is also anti-inflammatory. So it's just is an all-rounder great supplement. It also helps ease anxiety, which is almost a given because it kind of calms the nervous system, all right? So it's a great one to supplement with, especially if you are looking to improve your quality of sleep, which we're going to get on to in the next part of the session. So magnesium sources, again, it's all very much the similar sorts of foods that we're talking about. It's dark leafy greens, it's like spinach, and it's things like bananas, blackberries, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, all your really good whole food sources, okay? I also want to talk about phytoestrogen foods. So phytoestrogen foods are just plant-based foods which have, when eaten and digested in the body, it has a estrogen-like effect on the body. So things like tofu, tempeh, all these sorts of, like, again, lots of seeds and things, they're all kind of phytoestrogen foods. There's a huge list of what is considered a phytoestrogen food if you look it up, right? Things like soy, because you might have heard in like the news and stuff, like, of men having like soy products and stuff, and then having like an estrogen imbalance almost in the body. It's quite interesting, but obviously for women, because it's a naturally declining sex hormone in our bodies during menopause, we can help support, you know, hormone replacement therapy by making sure we are including phytoestrogen foods within our diets, all right? And last but not least, the biggie, protein. Now, I cannot bang on enough about how beneficial protein is in our diets. When we even think about what we're going to eat, like meal-wise, whether it be breakfast, lunch or dinner, we should always be basing our food around what protein source we're going to eat. Whether that's breakfast, we're going to have eggs, whether it's lunch, we're going to have chicken, whether it's dinner, we're going to have beef, for instance. Your 3 main meals, always look to increase the amount of protein that you're having, whether that's even increasing the protein size amount. So for instance, if you're having 1 chicken breast, you might want to have 1.5. It's an easy way of including more protein in your diet, okay? So protein, it helps build bones, muscle, cartilage, skin, helps repair cells and tissues, tissue in our body, of course, helps regulate hormones and digestion, and it also stimulates hormone release in our body. It has a huge part to play in so many functions in our body. So the main types of proteins that there's about 7 or 9 types of proteins that in our body. Like the ones that you would have heard about are collagen, keratin, you know, things that help support our hair and our nails and our skin. But our bodies are pretty much made up fully of collagen, so even supplementing with collagen is really beneficial to us. Even like, so I know we were talking last session about collagen. Even if you were to have say a protein powder and a collagen powder together, they don't cancel each other out, they complement each other. So you could very well have a protein smoothie with an added scoop of collagen powder in it, and that's a huge amount of protein that you're going to have in one hit, and your body will absorb it. It doesn't just, you know, disregard some of it, it will absorb it. So how much protein do we actually need? So per every kilogram of body weight, we should be aiming to have 1 gram of protein. So for instance, I want to give away my weight here. 76 kilos I am right now. So that's 76 kilograms is, so we want to say a minimum of 76 grams of protein for me. although I always advocate, always have at least 100, aim for 100 grams of protein per day. And it's not unachievable, it's quite easy if we are conscious about it. Bodybuilders will have roughly like sort of 2 to 2.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, which is a lot, right? But that's because their main aim is to get really big, full muscles. So by increasing your protein intake by at least a gram per kilogram of body weight, you're not going to suddenly become the next Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay? You're not going to get bulky. It's not going to, like all those myths, it's just a myth. If anything, we're going to achieve that beautiful toned look that we're looking for, especially if we're incorporating sort of weight-bearing exercises on top of that. Calories from protein. So every gram of protein equates to 4 calories, okay? So if we talk about anything that's high protein, considered high protein, because let's face it, a lot of food companies these days are very, very clever and just sticking high protein on the front of foods and making us believe that yes, it is high protein. Easiest way to check this, it needs to have at least 15 grams of protein per 100 grams for it to be considered high protein. So when you're next out shopping, have a look at that packet, turn it over and have a look and just see, are you getting duped? Just another marketing ploy, or is it indeed high protein? Because it's very well having a protein yogurt or a protein pancake, but if you can have, for instance, 100 grams of Greek yogurt instead, it's going to better serve you, it's going to have more protein in it, probably less calories as well, because it's not going to have the added sugars and the added carbs. And just be a better whole source of protein rather than the convenience bars, puddings and these sorts of things. So it's definitely one to think about, because I know we all kind of fall into that trap. So just to finish off then about protein, so main sources of protein is of course dairy, Greek yogurt, eggs, cottage cheese, milk, meat, chicken, turkey, lamb, beef, obviously fish, all types of fish. And then obviously for our vegetarians and vegans, things like soy, nuts and seeds. So really, again, if we have a whole food diet, and it's incorporating as many different things as possible, eating a rainbow as they say, we can put ourselves in the best place possible to help support our menopause and also be healthy and possibly lose a few pounds along the way, because we're not eating then heavily processed food, okay? So that is menopause nutrition. I will just quickly touch on the tips for sleep before I open up for Q&A. So the best tips I can give you for the best night's sleep is routine. Our body loves routine. From the minute that we're born, from babies, we thrive on routine. So I know that's not possible for everyone, because there's people here who work shifts and it's not always possible to go to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time, but the vast majority of us, that's what we should be aiming for. It helps our circadian rhythm regulate. Also, we want to really limit screen time. So we really say that you should not be looking at any screens at all for around 2 hours before you go to sleep. Not always possible, I know. Many of us go from couch straight to bed, or checking phones and stuff, scrolling before sleep. So try and limit that as much as possible and replace it with good habits and good routines, like potentially reading or meditation or some breath work. Could just be a nice relaxing warm bath. Maybe not a hot bath, because that will help. That will push up your natural body temperature and maybe make you too hot to go to sleep. Because we want to have a cool environment in our bedrooms as well when we want to go to sleep. So especially summer months, that might be opening a window for like half an hour before you go to sleep, just to kind of regulate the air. A sort of AC cooler if you've got one. fan, that sort of thing, just to make it nice and cool. Might also be looking at your types of bedding as well, your sheets, especially if you're suffering from hot flushes or night sweats. 100% cotton sheets are the best and most breathable. We also want to look at our caffeine intake. So our bodies hold on to caffeine a lot. So we generally say the rule of thumb is you don't have caffeine after 2 p.m. If you still want coffee and things, then switch to decaf after that time. And also, it depends on your caffeine sensitivity. Some people are more sensitive than others. I can literally have a caffeine-rich cup of tea and go straight to sleep, and it does not bother me one iota. However, some people are really, really sensitive. So, yeah, switching to decaf where you can after a certain time of day can really help that. Also, alcohol intake. Alcohol really messes with our sleep. It messes with our bodies in general because our bodies are just trying to get rid of it. Because it's a toxin, okay? So limiting how much that we're having. If we're going to have a tipple, then certainly make sure that we are really well hydrated to help our bodies do the filtration process of trying to get rid of it, so to aid our kidneys and our liver. Also, what else, let me think. The only other real tip that I've got is having a really dark room. So a lot of us do have blackout blinds and things in our rooms already, but some people like to just wake up to natural daylight. So if that's you, I would still say get a blackout blind, make it the room as dark as possible for when you're wanting to go to sleep, because it stimulates melatonin production, which is our happy sleep hormone. So and then you can get one of those sunrise alarm clocks that you set it to whatever time that you want to wake up, and it naturally produces brighter light from the time that you want to wake up, and it will naturally wake you up. So that is another way of getting sunlight, getting natural sunlight to wake up to, but then also not disturbing your sleep at night, because let's face it, summer months, it's getting darker later, and it can be really hard to get to sleep at, say, 9 o'clock when it's still light outside. So that is my top tips for sleep. Also, we did mention magnesium glycinate as a supplement to help you with sleep. We can also add that to the list, okay, and make sure that we are supplementing if we are really struggling with sleep, multiple wake-ups. So I'd lastly to mention our fluid intake, because that's so important. Something that we generally overlook is how much fluids we're having towards the end of the day. If you're somebody who wakes up frequently just to go to the bathroom, then try and limit how much fluid that you're having towards the end of the day, and that should help you not have to go so regularly. Okay, I will end the recording here. Thank you.